What's up, guys? It is DJ here, back with the video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys tips on how to rotate solos with no mobility. It's going to be this first game is going to be a really stacked game. This is from a Rich Homie Quinn solos match. It was a ladder game. Second game is going to be from PlayStation Cup. Both Surge games. And then the last game is going to be for open players. It's going to be a relatively, I'd say, Zone Wars stacked 14 players, half. Hope you guys enjoy these tips. Hopefully you find them useful, and we're gonna just get straight into the tips. Okay, so when it comes to rotating in endgame with no mobility, I prefer. It's gonna depend on your positioning coming out of fifth zone. I prefer low ground, as normally I use these old builds to just climb. You'll see me. I go from low ground to like second height to third height in like a few seconds. I stagger this as well. It saves a lot of material, especially for if you just use your wood and stagger your wood. It saves your hard mats so much better than any other option. When doing this though, you want to wait for everyone else around you to rotate unless you got ahead. If you have zone or you pulled zone, you pulled like the very like you're closer, you want to rotate as early as possible. But if you have players around you and you pulled backside of zone, let everyone else rotate, so that way you can climb over your builds like how I am doing right now, where you can just like you just build over them. Make sure you stagger wood, and make sure you're using the new sprint feature, as this can allow you to get farther. And wood, it's very a cheap material. You don't want to be mass spamming your hard mats. You want to be using it a little bit. Right here I'm making this mistake of choosing my hard mats too early, but at the same time you want to be making sure that you're just getting ahead, looking back for kills. It's usually a repetitive process where you stagger, you get ahead, get kills, or look back, get kills, and then get the mats and stagger ahead, look back, kills. That's how you get your kills endgame, and that's how you're gonna get your mat refreshes as well. Very useful technique that most pros use. Mainly Malibuka uses it. It's a really simple process. Now this is the PlayStation Cup game. Relatively stacked still. This is like the second to last game, third to last game. This was like my last stacked game. Unfortunately, the last two went down because second to last game got shot out the air. The last game I ended up getting keyed. Doesn't matter. Anyways, this game I ended up. This time I didn't pull zone, so I allowed everyone around me to rotate first. So that way, I tried to get a free shot off because I was below Surge, but it doesn't end mattering because there's only like 31 alive. One needs to go down. Everyone dies Surge. But I'm using my players' build, or the players around me. I'm using their old builds to get up, or at least to save material. That way, I could save my hard mats, my brick, and my metal for later on in the game, for the later zones when it actually matters to have hard mats, or just to have materials. Because when 6th zone is very wide, it's very hard to rotate in, especially without mobility. And once you get past 7th, 8th, 9th zones, where you barely have any mats left, you want to make sure you at least have brick and metal, at least like 200-300 of it, so that way you can still have enough to tarp your way into zone, and you still have enough to at least get a kill or two, or at least have a box, so that way you don't get shot at, you know. Again, I'm staying ahead. I'm trying my best to stay ahead. Once I get ahead, I'm gonna be looking back and trying to get kills. I end up getting a nice spray on a kid that wasn't paying attention, because I don't know why. And then it's just a repetitive process from right then and there. You just want to be staying ahead, look back, get kills, stay ahead, look back, get kills. You want to be, if you're gonna be looking for height, start looking for height around this zone, 7th, 8th, 9th zone. That's when you want to start looking for height. And depending on how the player is playing height is going to be how you're going to want to play height. If the player is playing backside of zone, you're just going to want to crank and just start spraying at him. The player is probably not going to be as experienced as other players that play height. Most experienced players that play height usually play front side. They'll stay ahead as much as possible, connecting the front layers, as it allows them to look back, and they have more leverage to when it comes to looking for kills. But if you have that more experienced player that plays front side of zone, you're gonna want to be you're gonna want to try and wait for him to go out too far to where the point where he can't he isn't reconnecting, but he isn't you'll know what I'm talking about. From his last reconnect, it's too far for him to reconnect again. You're gonna want to spray that out. But I'm gonna let this game play out, and then I'll go into the next game where it was just like a 14-player end game. Okay, now this is for you console players, who are, or opens players who are in 14-player lobbies like this in your end games or your tournaments. This is a good example as to why never to go for height too early. The two kids next to me, on my right, you'll see they'll start to fight right there. They start fighting. You never want to do this. Everyone, you guys want, again, you want to make sure that you wait for everyone around you to rotate. That player right there I just got into 50-50 with and just left. You don't want to be taking 50-50s, as you just it's a both lose-lose. If the people on top of you or people behind you hear two people get cracked, they're gonna think, or if they see the fight, they're gonna think you're both weak, and that's when you both end up dying, and it's a waste of time. I get free positioning here, but you'll see why going for height's too bad. Going for height too early, especially half-half, it's a waste of builds as the zone's way too wide. Not only that, but it wastes mats, and you end up griefing game, and you'll end up getting sprayed like this. That was one of the kids who ended up going for height. The second one's in wood right there. Just don't do that. It's just one of the more brain dead plays that you can do. If you're gonna go for height, go for it 7th, 8th, and 9th zone. Don't go for it that late. Anyways, zone goes. I'm waiting for this kid to rotate, but he's also stuck, so I'm trying to look for a kill. He's in wood. I thought I could spray him, but unfortunately I can't. He ends up starting to rotate. I end up using his builds to stay on top of this second layer. It's a free rotate from here, as I don't have anyone this right side besides this kid on low ground that I'm using to use his builds with. It's a simple rinse, wash, and repeat. Stay ahead. When it comes to games like this, if you are going to be playing low ground, play it front side, and at least play it by 1 layer, 2 layers. Unfortunately, ended up running out of mats and ended up dying because some kid jumped in my box. Players will be trying to jump in your box on that low ground layer. As you know, they're not as experienced and they're looking for kills. As you can see right here, I ended up doing it too because I ran out of mats. Just got a kid off guard. He didn't have a cone when he should have, especially just not knowing where people are. If you're ramping up like that, make sure you're placing cones. And see, I'm playing low ground as it is my preferred layer, but I'm playing it as 1 layer up and not just dead low. I end up running out of mats and I have to play that 2 layer, or I have to play just dead low. But if you're gonna play dead low, remember, again, stay as far ahead as you can. And again, it's a rinse, wash, and repeat. And I'll let the end game play out. Hopefully you guys find these tips useful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.